Writing your life away on Substack is actually extremely helpful. When I started the Path to Forensic Psychology Part 2, describing how my trauma led me to forensic psychology, it felt really relieving, like it was coming off of my chest, and like I'm doing this for me, but also for a foundation for the people who follow me to kind of know how Dark Diaries started. Overall, just to know what Dark Diaries represents. Everybody has a dark story, everybody goes through trauma and drama and has a hard time processing it sometimes. I started my page from a full on crash out because of all of the trauma that I suffered over the years. The incident that I tell you guys about on Substack, it's not the only incident, sadly, but it is one of the biggest that I went through. I went through a public, it feels like, it might not have been for some, but a public SA. Like, I reported it, everybody found out about it, hella public humiliation, everybody knowing. Like, that's a huge reason why I went to the military, is to leave this town. So in part 2 of the Path of Forensic Psychology that I'm writing right now, my computer's behind me, I'm talking about the story more in depth, like telling you guys how I went to a superior and reported it and what happened with that, my thoughts, how that investigation went, blah, blah, blah. And I'm putting scholarly resources of what I have learned in forensic psychology so far, how it correlates to the case. So nothing ever happened with the case, spoiler alert, but yeah, there was no conviction, there was no charges, there was nothing done civilly because it takes moolah and whatever. But I'm going to show you guys essentially what happens with the criminal justice system and how we read people with read is a bad word in logical terms for forensic psychology, but how we analyze someone, evaluate someone. Now, this isn't done with any paperwork, obviously. No evaluation was performed on me. However, the symptoms that I'm going to tell you in all of the scenario cases, you're going to see. You're going to read a lot of scholarly work. There's going to be APA references in there. Be prepared to sit down and actually read. It's long. I'm making sure I'm not submitting it too early. I am putting every single detail that I can before I do another paper to keep kind of going on. You can find it in the case files tab in my Substack. There's a part 1 right now. Everything is free. This is going to go in there as well, and for part 2, and it's also free. They're going to be the foundation. They'll be open forever, so you guys can read them whenever you want. It's the foundation of Dark Diaries, so I'm taking my sweet time with it to make sure it's perfect. Even when it's published, I might edit it here and there. You might have noticed that with part 1 if you guys have already read it and gone back for seconds. Have fun with it, I guess. Learn something from this. This is my true inner thoughts, and I'm being very, very, very vulnerable with you guys with this, but it's for a reason. I feel drawn to do it. I'm going to listen to my gut because I know that, honestly, if I were looking back at my old self, I would have loved to read something like this and feel seen by someone being able to recognize what they went through, accept their own faults, and see how it's your brain working out your life, essentially. Forensic psychology is so incredibly important to understand human behavior, good and bad.